What if the world saw you as a failure before you ever got the chance to try? What if every classroom, every report card, every voice told you, you're not smart enough, not fast enough, not enough at all? Would you believe them? Or would you find a way to prove them completely wrong? This is the story of a boy who failed every class, but passed the one test that truly mattered, the test of life. Because the test of life isn't written in textbooks. It's not graded on paper. It's the silent exam that shows up when no one's watching, in moments of failure, of heartbreak, of rejection, and self-doubt. It asks you, will you keep going when no one believes in you? Can you find meaning in your pain? Will you rise, even when the world gives you every reason to quit? Unlike school, it doesn't care how fast you learn. It cares how deeply you grow. The test of life isn't about getting everything right. It's about becoming someone who doesn't give up, even when everything says you should. And that's the test this boy passed. The same one we all face, once upon a time. In a crumbling village school, where paint peeled from the walls, and broken windows let in more dust than sunlight, there was a boy who always sat at the back of the classroom. Not because he liked it there. Not because he wanted to hide from learning. But because it was easier to hide from the shame of not knowing the answer. When the teacher called his name, at the back, no one asked him questions. No one laughed when he got things wrong. No one noticed if his shoes were torn, or if he didn't bring lunch. He wasn't lazy. He wasn't slow. He was just tired. Tired of being judged. Tired of being ignored. Tired of feeling small. Every test came back with red marks. Every report card came with sadness. Every teacher eventually gave up. They called him lazy. They called him slow. Some even said he was beyond help. But no one ever stopped to ask, what does he see that we don't? At 9 years old, he couldn't read like the other kids. Numbers danced on the page. Words blurred into noise. You felt stupid, embarrassed, like life had handed everyone else a map, except him. So every morning he put on a brave face, smiled like nothing was wrong, walked like he had it all together. But inside, he was sinking, drowning in doubt, fear, and the growing belief that he wasn't enough. No one saw the storm inside him, because he hid it well. Even his parents whispered at night, "What's wrong with him?" One day, after failing yet another exam, he walked home slower than usual. The weight of that one word, fail, felt heavier than his entire backpack. Because it wasn't just about a test. It was about what the test confirmed. That maybe he really wasn't enough. That maybe the world had been right all along. When he got home, he didn't speak. Not because he was rude, but because he didn't have the words to explain what he felt. The weight inside him was too heavy to carry, let alone say out loud. He didn't touch the food on the table. Not because he wasn't hungry, but because the sadness had already filled him up. So, like always, he walked to his room, quietly. But this time, he locked the door. And for the first time, he didn't cry, because the pain didn't surprise him anymore. He just lay there, staring at the ceiling, numb, exhausted, empty. And then, a thought whispered through the silence. Would the world even notice if I was gone? Would the world be better without me? When failure becomes familiar, when every effort ends in shame, hope starts to feel like a stranger, like something meant for everyone else, but not for you. Until one day, he was walking home from school, on the same path as always. Suddenly he saw something strange. An old, forgotten radio, lying in the trash, rusted, damaged, broken, worthless to most people. But to him, it looked familiar, because that's exactly how he felt too. So he picked it up, carried it home like it was a fragile treasure, locked his door, sat on the floor of his tiny room, and stared at the damaged radio. No instructions, no YouTube tutorials, no one to ask for help, just instinct, and a desperate need to feel like he wasn't completely useless. He opened the case. Tiny screws fell out. Dust blew in his face. But he didn't stop. He took it apart, piece by piece, slowly, gently, like it could break at any moment. And in the process, he wasn't just learning how to fix a radio. He was learning how to believe again. He didn't just study wires and circuits. He studied possibility, patience, hope. Because every screw he turned, every wire he reconnected, wasn't just about fixing a machine. It was about rebuilding trust in himself. And when he finally put it back together, he pressed the power button, expecting silence. But then, a sound, crackling, soft, but real. The radio played. For the first time in his life, He didn't feel like a failure. He didn't feel like a mistake. He didn't cry. He didn't cheer. He just smiled. Because for once, something worked. And he was the reason. That moment became his turning point. The moment he realized, maybe he wasn't bad at learning. Maybe school just wasn't built for minds like his. So while others chased grades, he chased understanding. While they memorized answers, he asked bigger questions. He started fixing things in the neighborhood. Toasters, phones, generators. He didn't charge much. He just wanted to matter. Because that's all he ever wanted. Not applause, not trophies, no validation. Just the quiet assurance that he was needed, that his existence meant something, even in small ways. And slowly, it did. Word spread. Call the quiet boy, they said. He's the one who can fix anything. The boy who once sat in the back of the class, ashamed of his grades, was now the one people turned to. Not because of what he memorized, but because of what he understood. He didn't just fix machines. He restored trust. He earned respect. He became essential. A few years later, the boy they once called useless now owns a repair company with over 200 employees. He trains young people who feel like he once did. Forgotten. Misunderstood. Labeled by a system that never saw their spark. He never graduated top of his class. He never got a degree. But he passed the real test. The test of life. The test of not giving up when no one believes in you. Of staying soft when life tries to harden you. Of choosing meaning over medals. Of living with resilience, purpose, and heart. Maybe you failed too. Maybe they judged you before they ever knew your name. Please, listen closely. You are not your grades. You are not your test results. You are not the box they tried to fit you in. You are more than that. You are stronger. You are wiser. You are full of potential that no exam can measure. So if you're the one who always comes last, the one they laughed at, the one they said wasn't enough, don't believe them. You matter. You are enough. You still have time to do great things. Because the world isn't changed by those who always got it right. It's changed by the ones who kept going. Even when everything said, stop. Life isn't graded on paper. And sometimes, the ones who fail in school are the ones who teach the world how to live. So if you've ever felt unseen, unheard, unworthy, subscribe to this channel. Because here, we tell stories for the underdogs, for the unheard, for the ones the world tried to count out. Stories that remind you of your worth. Stories that make you feel less alone. Stories that ignite the fire in your chest when the world tries to blow it out. So hit that subscribe button. Turn on the notifications, because the next story might just be yours.